everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Pug, and today we are talking about a game that I have not yet talked about on this channel, but it's been requested through the comments many times, and that game is called Granny. If you don't know what Granny is, it is an iOS horror-like game, and it's really popular. A couple weeks ago, there's videos with 4 or 5 million views on them. And it's a really interesting horror game if you actually kind of look at the story behind it and not just the game itself. Basically, the premise of the game, because I'm going to assume that a lot of you do not know what it is, because I didn't know what it is until someone told me to go look for it, is basically the game is you're in this house and this kind of like granny person has locked you up, right? And you try to escape and it's Hello Neighbor-ish. Except in the way that you're inside of the house and you're trying to get out, instead of you're outside of the house and you're trying to get in. Think of it like inverse Hello Neighbor in the middle of a woods with a scary grandma. I think it's actually a lot scarier than Hello Neighbor in my opinion, because Hello Neighbor has has a bit more of a childish vibe to it. This game definitely has a more darker and serious tone to it. First of all, in today's video, I want to talk about some correlation. I just want to talk a lot about this game. The first thing I want to talk about is a lot of clues that we find throughout the game. The first one is in one of the rooms we find this thing called 5 days scraped into the table. So there's a table and it says 5 days. And then on a wall somewhere, it has a bloody markers, like you know those like things where it's like line, slash, and that equals 5? There is that marked on a wall, and so this kind of 5 is recurring. The first thing I thought it was Five Nights at Freddy's, so I'm like, there we go. And then another note says leave this house, which is written in blood. I'm sorry, my door just opened spooktastically for no good reason, and I'm a bit scared because this is a spooky land and a spooky thing that we're talking about. Anyways, there is my theory behind this game is that basically this granny, this grandmother, whoever it is, whatever, right, basically abducts people and kind of gives them 5 days before she eats them. And I'm going to follow up with a bit more evidence. First of all, why I say 5 days is because of all the other previous signs of life in the house, such as there's actually writings, and then the 5 days. My personal prediction is the 5-day marker was actually scratched in by Granny herself, so she could keep track of it. The 5 days written into the table was kind of like a message, a note, as well as the leave this house is a message and a note to if there's another person. Because the person who was there before is like, this is terrible, I gotta let someone know, basically. And also, if we go throughout the house, there is both a bed that is all bloody and gross, and there's also a clean bed. So I'm assuming that shows that there was someone else in this house before that I'm assuming is not Granny. Also, something interesting to point out is there's a leg, and at first, a couple theory videos I watched theorized that it was a leg of somebody, but it apparently proven in the comment section it was just a leg of some meat. So weird enough, she has a piece of meat in her closet. But something that is more interesting is, and I think one of the downstairs floors, there is a big blood stain next to a drain. And the theory behind that is basically that that's where she eats the people. Because there's a drain, so like the cleanage of all the blood and nastiness it's easier to clean up there because all the nastiness goes into that drain pipe, right? But another thing is, there's a note. We find a note from someone else. So that is almost 100% proof that someone else is here. And it basically says that, like, their car broke down, and when they went to go out to see what it actually was, or, like, if it was a flat tire, or if it was, like, anything like that, they were hit in the back of the head, and is supposedly brought to this house. And as well, there's an escape route, and while you're escaping, you see a bloody handprint. The theory behind this is that someone was injured, maybe Granny slashed at him, but he or she continued to escape, or they were like, I don't know, somehow they were injured, so there's a bloody handprint. And some people say that this person did not make it, but I don't know why this person would not have made it. There's like no evidence saying that they did or did not. All the bloody handprint really shows is that someone, yes, at one point was escaping, and yes, at one point was injured. It does not show. There could have been, my theory behind this is that Granny is someone who somehow gets people one way or another and captures them. Either by this person's flat tire was obviously, it was on purpose, because right as he goes out to check what it is, he's hit in the back of the head and he's knocked out. This is not a coincidence. She's not like walking down the street. She's like, oh, look at that. I have my handy crowbar on me and this person just happens to have a flat tire. Let me go knock them in the side of the head. This was obviously planned, so maybe she has nails on the road, and it's obviously not very busy roads, because then all these cars, it would have been a huge, colossal thing. And it's probably a road that 2 to 3 cars go down in a day, right? And so basically, I believe that this house is out in the middle of nowhere, and this road is out in the middle of nowhere as well. Are they in the same place? I can't really say. She could always drag the body much farther away than the house is so the police don't get suspicious, you know. But basically, she gives them 5 days in the house, which is really weird in my opinion. And I might be observing this game wrong or the 5-day function on this game incorrectly, but one thing that I brought a parallel to was, if you remember in the story of Hansel and Gretel, how the evil witch fattens up Gretel in an attempt to eat him. Some similarities. Evil person, granny, witch, kind of similar in that kind of regard. A lot of witches are regarded as kind of older women. Get this, like, kind of like these small children, or anyone, I guess, into the house, give them a certain amount of time, and then eat them, which is kind of what's happening here. So I think it's almost like a spin on that story, but kind of a little different. Of course, it's a little different. There's no denying that it's different. My overall theory is that, well, as I said, that she brings people into the house. She gives them 5 days. I do not know why they have these 5 days. And then she eats them. And that's kind of how she lives. There's some theories going around that there's like some connection to Slender Man, and I'll have to like look into that. But that's when you combine lore and background from multiple games, it turns into a massive mess. That's for like trying to prove that Undertale and FNAF are in the same universe. Like, don't bother. The FNAF timeline is a mess by itself. Don't bother with this one. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. If you do like granny videos, because back in the day, I used to do only Hello Neighbor videos, and then I decided to do a Bendy and Ink Machine video, because, you know, why not? And then I've made hundreds of Bendy videos after that. And I'm like, hey, granny seems like a new opportunity for me in this channel. Well, I'll keep on making Bendy videos. I'm trying to diversify so that my channel survives a bit longer than I'm expecting it to. So I like doing this video, and it looked like an interesting game. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Make sure to go down the comment section and leave comments of any other games you want me to cover or make theories on. Preferably these games be more relevant. For example, thank you guys for telling me about Granny, because it only came out a couple weeks ago. While something like Undertale, while I would like to go into the story behind it, it is many, many years old. And I feel like I've missed kind of the hype train for that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like down below and a comment down below, because I read all the comments and try to respond to as many as possible. As always, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.